Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is time for the internet's favorite Nintendo Switch-based podcast. It's episode 76 of the Switch It Up Show. I am your host today, Seth Trav, joined as always by our friend Len.
How you doing today, my man?
I'm doing so well because, ladies and gentlemen, I have got some great news for all of yous. That's right. We are giving away a code for the brand new game, Selma and the Wisp, a dark platformer which comes out May 31st on Nintendo Switch. We'll be giving that code, announcing the winner on episode 80. That's right, episode 80 of the Switch It Up Show. So all you've got to do to get this code is follow at Seth Trav, follow at From the Crib, and of course follow at Switch It Up Show on Twitter. We'll be tweeting all about this giveaway. Be sure to retweet it. Be sure to hit those follows. Find us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, anywhere you can get a good podcast. Be sure to subscribe there, rate us, leave us one and your Twitter handle, and from there, ladies and gentlemen, we will draw you by episode 80 for a code for Selma and the Wisp, a dark platformer American code, North American code, that's right, on the Nintendo Switch. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, until we get into this hot episode, we're going to let these sweet beats ride. Thank you, Anamanaguchi, keeping us all kinds of jazzed for those sweet giveaways and for our sweet 2 reviews that we're doing today. First up, I have got a fantastic little game from our friend Carlos Coronado. He is at Carlos Game Dev on Twitter. Be sure to give him a follow. Be sure to let him know what you think about this and share the episode with him so he knows how much we love him, because we're talking all about Koral. And that's with a K, Koral.
Shades of the Walking Dead there.
Koral. I love the Koral meme still.
They're good.
I still think it's so funny. So this is Koral with a K. You got to search for it by Koral Game. Otherwise, you're going to get some pants and a fashion blog, fashion line. Yeah, Koral. It is $11.99, and you get 60 gold coins when you buy it digitally. Dive into the beautiful underwater world to bring coral reefs back to life. Solve puzzles to ecosystems and explore the beauty of the oceans. Dive into the beautiful undiscovered water world, underwater world, and heal coral reefs while you traverse the entire world in search for bleached, dying reefs. Interact with various kinds of corals, each one of them with unique skills you can use to interact with that will help you go in the adventure. As a player, you play as a current. Flow anywhere you want to find for ways to transport healing energy for other corals and heal entire reefs, watching real time how the seafloor becomes colorful again and vibrant with life and diversity. Again, this is by Carlos Coronado. He did it all himself, published, developed, made it for us. It's only 325 megabytes, and it's an action-adventure education puzzle arcade game. So, if you've ever played Flower or even Journey, you're probably going to get a good vibe for how Koral is. It gives off those very Flower-esque vibes. You play as the current, simply an ocean current moving through the ocean. This game is equal parts dark and colorful. At times, it's so beautiful and vibrant, and you could go into the next area, and all of a sudden, it's the darkest, sort of most difficult thing to sort of traverse around. But that's where the puzzling aspect of it kind of comes in, is because you gotta kind of go through some of these dark parts that aren't lit up yet, that aren't healed, and heal up these corals, find the different little I guess they're lights. I always just thought of them as lights, but they might be excess current that you're gathering to come with you. Um, it's very unique in how colorful it is. While it is a gorgeous game and it is fairly easy and quick, it's kind of horrifying, because, as some people might say, it's preachy. It comes at you a little heavy-handed at times, but at the same time, not at all, because it's all real. It hits you with a lot of information about what goes on in the oceans and all the pollution and dynamite fishing and bleaching and legitimate destruction of the coral reefs. So if you choose to, you can sit and you can actually read through a lot of this information that comes at you. And the way Carlos has presented it, it is horrifying, to know that this is the reality of the world that we live in. As I'm sure you know, there's a garbage island out there that's just plastic that's in the ocean, and it is frightening. That being said, the game itself is fairly beautiful, and again, it's fairly easy to play, and it's a little on the quick side. There's, I believe, 10 different environments is what I wound up going through, or levels, I guess you would say, but they're all different coral reef environments, and it's all fairly quick. I want to say it took me maybe 2 hours to get through the whole game. Is it worth it for that $11, that $12? I would say yeah. I would definitely tell you yes, it's worth it, because it's beautiful, it's haunting, it stays with you. Something about it is equal parts calm and at the same time, as I said, frightening. You'll feel very calm and relaxed playing it until you read more about how awful the reality of the world is. All that being said, I'm going to give Koral a 4 out of 5.
It's a very good score, my man.
It is. It's a little short, and I kind of wish there was a little bit more variety in the puzzling. But the music is like I said, music is very calming. Graphically, it's very, very pretty. But at times it's super, super dark, and it's supposed to be because you haven't cleaned up this coral yet. But that is a little bit of a detraction from the overall enjoyment of the game, because unless you go back and actually look through all the areas that you just cleaned up, it's not going to be that great. You're really just going to experience mostly sort of dank, dark, grossed out sea life. But I really love it. I think it's great.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm going to keep the love going with my review of Super Blood Hockey, which is currently available on the Nintendo eShop for the economical price of $14.99. It is arcade sports for a new generation. Arcade hockey gaming gets a shot of adrenaline in Super Blood Hockey, a violent homage to the classic 8 and 16-bit ice hockey games. Customize your lineup and take to the ice, using fast-paced skills and bone-crunching brutality to dominate. Prove your hockey prowess in a deadly global tournament, or against friends in 4-player local multiplayer. Build and manage your own squad in franchise mode. With the right diet and performance-enhancing drugs, your team can be the season champions. The key features of this game include: use superior skating, positioning, strategy, and blood-spattering violence. Take on the world in a global tournament where failure results in execution. Varied challenges and scenarios, including turbo mode and 12 versus 12 mega rumble, and paint the ice with the blood of your friends in 4-player local multiplayer. Franchise mode includes creating, recruiting, and managing your own custom team of inmates in a futuristic world of dystopic blood sports. Enjoy the retro beats of an original soundtrack by Chip cartoonist Sean Daly. This game came out on April the 26th, so it's about a month old as we're recording this. Supports up to 4 players. A little bit on the smaller size too, will only require 243 megabytes of space. But let me tell you, if you aren't a fan of hockey games, and they said the classic 8 and 16-bit games, so I'm thinking like already like NHL, like 95, 96, those games on the Sega Genesis, you will definitely be right at home with this game. I jumped right into the franchise mode because in like NHL like 95 and 94, like those were the games that was the mode I loved. Like I love being able to like build my team. And
you didn't do the tutorial where you learn how to fight naked in the showers?
No, I did not. I jumped right in.
Take a look at the video in the description here. Down here in our show notes, you'll be able to see the video where I learn how to fight in the showers.
Maybe you do. You do fight in the beginning, and then you fight again. I mean, I've been kind of caught up in the franchise. I really love how immediately, as soon as you start to make it, you have to name your team, like choose your like your logo and things like that. And once you pop in, you get to kind of draft your players. They give you an idea of like how much money you're going to have. And normally, like in these games, like I'm always kind of like, you see the best players that are available and you see how much money you have and what positions you need to fill. I'm always kind of like a little bit let down because I know that a few of my positions are kind of like going to suck for a while. But
goalie all day.
Yeah, that's it, man. You spend that money on the goalie. But I gotta say, like so what happens is basically once you pick your players, you've committed and set up your team and you have your roster going, it almost becomes a little bit of like a management simulation because you're walking through and you're like in almost like the GM mode and you're talking to each of these different players and you give them a job to do. You could be like, all right, you have to go do cardio on the treadmill, you have to go lift weights, you have to go relax in the sauna because like your injury has like progressed and you're starting to like degrade your stats. You have to go like work the heavy bag. Like you have to go to the doctor and like get your drugs. Like there's all different type of things that you can do to kind of make your guys better. And I feel like they definitely do. You feel like an improvement when you're playing the game with them. After you finish the game, you get a report like based on like what they how they did and what they did, and they get better and better the more games you play. So you definitely catch yourself being like, okay, I gotta work on this guy here, I gotta make sure that this guy I see his injury rating is going up, I don't want it to get too high, I have to make sure I send him to like go relax. This guy's skating could use a little bit of improvement, let me go send him to like practice skating. Like there's all those things, and I feel like you definitely see that the improvement as well as their like as they degrade, you see it in their stats and people start to get better. So it's awesome to kind of watch some of these people who like you signed at the beginning who maybe weren't so good, and you start to see them succeed in the game and you get better with them as their stats improve. It's definitely noticeable because in the training that you do and their performance in the game, they can start to jump up pretty high. So I really thought that was awesome. The game itself, it's a little bit harder than I was anticipating. I thought this would be kind of like a high scoring type affair, and I lost my first game. I lost like 2-1, but I managed to win my second game. I think I won 3-2. But I love that this game kind of feels close to me.
It was difficult for me. Yeah. I was Team Canada. Had a hard time.
Yeah, it's not easy to score, but I did. But
no.
I kind of like that. Like I feel like it's a like hockey traditionally is a lower scoring game, and I feel like I got better and my players got better, and because of that, like we had a little bit of an easier time scoring. I thought I was doing a pretty good job of like passing the puck between the people, between the players, trying to like fool the goalie and stuff like that, but even though I'm doing that and I'm like powering up some of my shots, like that goalie is still stopping stuff, so like you really need to make sure that you're spending time to put the shots on the net, and also like to try to start as many fights as possible, because you start fights with these guys, like you get a power play and then that person is like out of the game. So like you can have entire periods where if you start 2 fights, you can be up like 2 men on them and they're not coming back. So I really, I really recommend, beat these guys up, like if you can, and don't lose if you start, don't start a fight that you can't lose, because you definitely don't want to be down, because it seems like the key to success in this game is to have as many shots on goal as possible. And even though my goalie wasn't like the highest rated like in stats when I was like drafting people, I still felt like the goalie does a good job of keeping you in the game. I really enjoyed this game. I feel like with the management simulation aspect to it, I was invested in making sure that my players improved, and I wanted to be able to go and like play the next game and the next one. Like normally I don't like that type of like management simulation like that. I feel like there's too much going on, but in this game I feel like it's just enough. I can tell them to go focus on one thing, and then I can see that their work pay off in the game, and then they improve again or they fall back, and then I know what they have to go work on. And there's only a few players on your team that you have to worry about, so it's not like it's too confusing or anything like that. But I love the game. I feel like the controls fit really well. Nothing felt laggy. It moves pretty quick, and your players start to move a little bit quicker as you start to progress. But if I had any real criticism with this, it's that it's a little more difficult to score. But again, I like a closer game, so I feel like this is the type of game that rewards you. The more you play, the better you'll do in Super Blood Hockey. Definitely going to give this a 4 out of 5. Good time
Beautiful.
with this game. Really no gripes. I guess my only gripe would be that it's hard, but like that just means I have to play it more, which is fine. I got no problem playing this game in perpetuity. Great hockey game, my man.
It is. It's a lot of fun, difficult to master, easy to learn and pick up, though.
Very much so.
Which is what you want out of a good hockey game. Remember, everybody, head over to @SwitchItUpShow on Twitter or @Preach Network, PreachCast on Instagram, @SethTrev, @FromTheCrib. Get at us. Be sure to retweet, rate, like, subscribe to enter to win a free code for Selma and the Wisp, a dark platformer on Nintendo Switch, North American code coming at you. And you will be giving that code away on episode 80 of the Switch It Up show. It comes out May 31st, 2019, so if you can hold off until our episode 80, we will give it to you then. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, things ever start to get boring, you can always switch it up.